Hey there, welcome back. This is module 4. In this video, I'm going to be talking about calories. Maybe not so much what are they, because we all know that calories are what is assigned to the foods that we eat. What I do want to talk to you about is if you are on a weight loss goal program, or if you just want to eat better and healthier, and you may not quite understand, your calorie intake, how much, what's too much, what's too little. I'm not really going to talk about what's too little. You'll certainly feel that if your calories are low for the day, even including when you're coming off a fasting state into feasting. It's about the overall calories and the macronutrients. So one thing I do want to talk to you all about is I did talk about a journal in one of the earlier modules, and here's what I recommend for those that have never really done it. Is in your journal, I want you to also do some food journaling, and this way you can kind of get a blueprint of maybe the new changes that you're starting in your intermittent fasting in your diet. Maybe you're going to analyze what you're currently eating. So I do get my clients to do this generally for a week, and I'm not a food cop. I always tell them, so don't edit it, just write down whatever it is you're eating. And this is also a very good exercise for you, because sometimes the reality is quite scary, and I'm just going to explain that in a minute. We don't generally know what the overall consumption is that we are eating in a day. So by journaling it, you're going to get a deeper understanding of your diet in relation to your health, in relation to your weight loss, and then weight management. How do we keep that weight off? Okay, so I'm going to just go through a couple of these things so you get a sort of a broader understanding of how to look at what you're currently doing in your diet, how maybe you can look at making some changes and so forth. Okay, so the first thing I do want to talk about is calories. And I'm not a calorie counter myself, even though I've done it for many years. So generally, every food that we eat has a calorie assigned to it, macronutrients. And we know this because I'm just going to show you, it's a food label. Okay, these labels are obviously there for a reason, all right? So when you're looking at a food label, what we're going to be talking about right now is not necessarily the calories. I'm not concerned with the calories unless or if the carbohydrates are generally low. That's how the calories can get up. So we want to be looking at our carbohydrates, our fats, and our proteins, okay? And we want to understand the ratio of them, or the percentages, so we can maintain or have weight loss happen, okay? So in a journal, this is what, if you want to participate in this, I recommend it, because it is really mind-blowing when you start looking at the food and what you're doing. So as far as calories, I'm just going to share this. A lot of my clients will ask, how many calories should I be eating in the day? Well, first of all, that depends. It depends on how active you are, okay? What gender are you? What it really depends on is, what is your ideal weight? What weight do you want to be at? What weight do you feel best at? For me, I generally stay in between 125 to 130 pounds. That's my normal weight. That's where I'm always at. It fluctuates from time to time. So how to keep this kind of a weight? If I want to maintain or get to 130 pounds, Put a 0 at the end of that. So that's 1,300. That 1,300 are calories, okay? For a normal person or sedentary person, 1,300 calories a day would be optimal. It would mean that you're not putting on excess weight, okay? So 1,300 calories. Now, if you are an active person, all right, you're gonna add a few hundred more calories because you're gonna be burning excess calories off when you're exercising or physical work or whatever physical movement you're doing, okay? So if you wanted to be 120 pounds, 1,200 calories, it could be 1,200 to 1,500 calories in that day. Now, what happens when you start intermittent fasting and you continue doing it daily, weekly, and you just keep going? Your calories will actually minimize, and it's very, very natural. It's not because you're intentionally doing it, it's your appetite changes. Your calories will change because your portions are smaller. You won't feel like eating as much. It's extremely normal. So just know when you're looking at a weight loss program. Sorry, I see this piece of, there we go. Oh, wow, that was weird. When you're in a weight loss program, understand your calories, okay? Especially if you want to get to your ideal goal. Don't worry so much about where your weight is at right at that time. I mean, if you're carrying an extra 10, 15, 30, 40 pounds, know that. And now we're going to work towards moving your calories to a lower caloric value, okay? So how do we do this? I want you to food journal. So what the journal, and you don't have to do this, but I do suggest it because it's amazing to see what you're doing for a week. You're going to just write down whatever the meal was. You're going to write down what was in that meal. I'm going to give you an example, okay? I'm going to give you my morning breakfast example. 1/4 cup of rolled oats. I have about a tablespoon of it's a fiber blend of flax, chia seeds, psyllium, scoop of protein powder, plant-based protein powder, and usually just under a 1/4 cup of almond milk, okay? So when I look at that nutritional label on each of those products, I know I can tell what my calories are. I can see my carbohydrates, my fats, and my proteins. So I've added these up. In that meal I just talked about, this is what it looks like. It's a total of 310 calories. I don't care about that. What I do care about is my carbohydrates in grams, okay? So the carbohydrates in that breakfast is 30 grams. My fats is 10 grams. My protein is 29 to 30 grams of protein. So overall, it's pretty good. Now, not every meal is that high in carbohydrates. I just know when I'm coming off a fast, I do want a bigger carbohydrate dense meal. Why? Because I've just fasted for 12 hours and I actually finished my workout or my exercise at the 10th to 12th hour of my fasting. So I'm hungry and I want some complex carbohydrates. It's probably the only time that I'm really bringing that into my day. So I know I'm going to be burning excess fat or calories in the morning, okay? So break down your meals when you're writing in the journal. Just scribble down what it could be. I had a handful of almonds and whatever, half a banana. Just write it down, okay? Break down your proteins, fats, proteins, fats, proteins, fats. What's my other one? proteins, fats, carbohydrates. Write it down in a column, okay? At the end of the day, I want you to add that up, okay? Just add, I'm not concerned about your calories, but add up, what is my total carbohydrates for the day? What's the total fat? What's the total protein? Here's the key. If you're trying to either maintain your weight and even weight loss, look at your carbohydrates. You want your carbohydrates on the lower end, okay? So lower grams of carbohydrates versus your fats and proteins. So if your carbohydrates are much higher than, let's say, your fats and proteins are down here, we need to switch that or at least even it out, okay? So how do we do that? Take a look at what you ate for the day or the week and analyze your carbohydrates. Take a highlighter and I want you to circle where are those carbohydrates coming from, okay? Oh, wow, it could be that I had my oatmeal and maybe I had something sort of starchy for lunch, and maybe dinner I had that extra piece of bread. I want you to look at the carbohydrates, okay? Make a note of it. Where were my carbohydrates? Are they high? Maybe I can substitute something else, okay? So these are the kind of things I want you to look at, monitor. In your food journal, also, I want you to write down how were you feeling during the day, like anything, any mood that you were feeling, okay? Water intake, I want you to write down your water intake, glass of water here, whatever it is, I had 2 liters, whatever. I want you to write it down. Do this for yourself. Whatever liquid intake, coffee, did I have cream in it? Did I have any alcohol? I want you to write these things down. And so you're mindful of what you are eating. And when you analyze it, you're going to go, okay, where can I do some changing? What do I want? How have I been feeling in the day? Am I feeling lethargic and tired? Maybe it's the food I'm eating. Maybe I'm eating a little too much carbohydrates, so I'm going to start making some adjustments, okay? Always remember, you want a protein source at every single meal, if you can do it. And for most, you can do it. Or you're bringing in a fat. Remember the macros, bringing in fiber, okay? So that's just one thing I wanted to just bring to your attention, is the food journaling. Write down your mood, write down the food, analyze it, write down your water intake, all of your liquid beverages intake. The other thing I want you to monitor, and I know this is your poop, the elimination. I want you to monitor that in, was I constipated, okay? Was I running to the toilet every hour on the hour? So these things are important. Elimination is equally important as when we bring food into our body, okay? We want to eliminate. Sometimes what happens if we are in, we're not eliminating, we can look at our diet and go, okay, where can I make some adjustments? Oh, I can see my water intake was really low. So I want you to add a glass of water in the day. Add a second glass. Just keep monitoring. Look at your fiber. Am I eating enough fiber? Okay, I could probably improve that. So by journaling, it holds you accountable to really looking at, what am I eating? Where can I make some adjustments? What goal do I want to make if I do want to lose weight? What are my total calories? Can I make some changes? So it kind of gives you a blueprint of what your day-to-day diet is like. You're also going to see consistencies. Like I said earlier in the previous video, most of us do eat the same things all the time, okay? So analyze that and monitor it, okay? Because the key, even though we are fasting, if you continue fasting consecutively and you just keep doing it on a daily, your eating is going to change. Everything is going to be smaller. You're going to be less hungry, okay? And it's not because you're intentionally doing this to restrict yourself. It's your body has completely adapted to the fasting times and the feasting times, and your metabolism is really working for you, okay? So that's one thing I wanted to bring up in this module is start journaling. You could even do it in the morning if you are practicing your morning routine. Write down, take 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and write your food journal in your journal along with your goals, okay? So try that out for start, stick to it, monitor, analyze your diet, and know that if you want to get to that goal weight, add the 0. That's on an average how many calories I should be eating in the day. And remember, each meal, there's a 2 to 3 hour window in between before you're eating again. Chew your food. And I'm going to always remind you, take your time, slow down your eating. Have a conversation with somebody if they're having a meal with you. Put your utensils down. Have some gratitude for your plate, okay? Enjoy the company that you're with, even if it's with yourself, okay? Anyway, start that if you feel inclined to do it. It is actually a really, really good way of seeing what is really going on your plate and how can I make some improvements? How can I get to my goal weight? Or how can I maintain my weight? How can I've lost my weight. How am I going to be able to keep it consistent? Okay, so enjoy that. Happy journaling, and we'll see you on the next module. Bye.